NFL history with 1,000 passing yards and 300 rushing yards in his first 5 games of the season. He joins his Week 6 quarterback counterpart, Lamar Jackson, who's done it 4 times, and Michael Vick, who did it twice. The Commanders won 4 of those 5 games. Meantime, Lamar Jackson will look to stay perfect against rookie starting quarterbacks in his career, entering this matchup with a 6-0 record. He will look to join Steve Young, Troy Aikman, and Randall Cunningham as the only QBs with a 7-0 record or better against starting rookie QBs since 1950. So not only is it a matchup of 2 Heisman winners, this will be the 3rd starting quarterback matchup since 1950 between the reigning Heisman Trophy winner and the reigning NFL MVP. Jackson involved in the previous matchup when he faced off against Joe Burrow in Week 5 of 2020. The first between Jim Plunkett and John Brody. Here's Stan Quinn.
The normal is remarkable. And I thought Lamar both handled it in their own unique ways about playing quarterback and their own styles and their own ways. And I tend to agree with both of them, to be honest with you. I really love the competitive nature of both of them. But I think, past that, their games are different. And I think both of those kind of brought that to light. And I think I think they were both really on it.
Pretty good team.
I would take the points. Fat
of
Rob
course
and I
you
with
would.
ESPN.
Fat Rob, okay.
Stevie, you think Daniels will go head-to-head and play really well here on Sunday afternoon?
I believe he will. The Redskins have the #1 offense in the National Football League right now in terms of points scored. #1. Not Commanders, Redskins. I'm sorry, Commanders. It's been a while. These guys have been balling, and Jayden Daniels has been doing his thing. I'm looking at his numbers right now. 77.1 completion percentage, 1,135 yards, just 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions or what have you, a QBR of 73, a quarterback rating of 106. Who has he been compared to? He's been compared to a healthy rookie by the name of RG3. Who is the only quarterback in football who runs better from behind center than him? It's Lamar Jackson. If this guy shows up and shows out against the Baltimore Ravens, even though their defense has been suspect this year, we have to start having a different conversation about just looking at Patrick Mahomes as league MVP. We got to throw this brother up in the conversation.
I agree with that.
Jayden Daniels is balling. And not only that, here's what I like. And this is one of the reasons that I like Caleb Williams. I'm watching Caleb Williams, y'all, over the last couple of weeks. Chicago seems to be getting a better groove. He's handling himself in the pocket more. He's got the NFL body, even though he could get a little bigger. He can make every throw, etc. What I like about him, Jeff, what I like about him, Kimberly and Doggy, is that he didn't start out well, but Jayden Daniels is. And the second there were questions as to Jayden Daniels being that dude who should have been the #1 overall pick and stuff like that, all of a sudden, you've seen his play upgrade. I like stuff like that. Because when you're the #1 guy, you don't want to hear that about you. And so I'm going to give Caleb Williams some love on this particular morning by simply pointing out that he's looked better over the last 2 weeks or so. Sure. But Jayden Daniels looks special. And if he shows up against the Baltimore Ravens this weekend, because Baltimore and Washington and how hyped that crowd is going to be for that matchup, he shows up on the road and balls out, he has officially put the league on notice. For sure. He's coming, and we can't ignore that.
And make it clear, this kid understands the history within this area. He came to Ashburn and said, I want kids to look at me, not just Commanders fans, to look at me the way that one day, the way they used to look at Doug Williams, but also in the DMV, the way they look at Lamar. He's trying to put the Commanders on the map to make it hard for fans in the DMV to just say, oh, yeah, we're Ravens fans.
Good point.
That's he understands the stage and what's at stake.
I love him here. What do you think?
Massive statement game for not only he, but for he and the Commanders. The Commanders, their offensive line has played well. Their running game has been solid. They have a good team. Yeah. What makes Jayden Daniels special is he doesn't try to force moments. He allows the game to come to him, and then he takes advantage of it. The Cincinnati play where he throws it to Scary Terry on the edge. and he's got a full-on blitzer that's going to be unblocked. He knows he's unblocked to make that throw. It's plays like that. That's not him forcing it. That is what's going to be required when you go play the Ravens in their place. Because when you go there, they're going to show you a lot of different looks. They're going to spin the coverages. It's going to be really difficult to be able to pre-diagnose what's going to happen. He's going to have to make decisions on the fly. That's what separates good and great in our game. And what you've seen from Jayden Daniels, and will have to be a level of consistency, obviously, because we've only got a small sample size, but he has been special so far. This would be a statement, because he would have surpassed all the ones we're comparing him to in this short window.
Two quick things before we get to Doggy. Number one, I want to piggyback off of what Kimberly said, because it's very, very important. It's not just him wanting the Commanders to get love in the DMV and everybody not rely on the Ravens. It's about him wanting that love and not all of it going to Lamar Jackson. He's taking it personal in a good way. And I think that's a beautiful difference. I can't give Caleb Williams love for responding to the challenge that Jayden Daniels has presented by his exceptional play as the number 2 overall pick, and not give Jayden Daniels love for not embracing the challenge of wanting to be that dude in the DMV you talking about just as much as you talking about Lamar Jackson. That's number one. Number two, Doggy, I'll give you this number right here. Jayden Daniels, he's been blitzed on 40% of his dropbacks. 40%. In the midst of all of that, he's completed 75% of his passes.
Unreal.
9.6 yards per attempt, 2 touchdown passes, not a single interception.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Yo.
He's special.
Quinn, and by the way, head coach Quinn is making an argument that he should have been the coach of the Dallas Cowboys instead of having to leave to go to the Commanders. And Cliff Kingsbury is making a case for himself as an offensive coordinator, earning his chops as well. Let's give credit where credit is due.
And remember, before we go to a break, the Colts lost that second Super Bowl to New Orleans because Peyton did an onside kick at the start of the second half, and the ball squirted through Saturday's hands, and New Orleans got the ball and scored. So you are responsible for them losing.
Let me just say this. Molly being gone is giving her the greatest job security ever, because the replacement's going to be smooth. There's not a chance. Molly, we are waiting for Molly to return. Everybody in America is waiting right now because of Doggy.
Were you on the field?
No, I wasn't on the field with the onside kick.
I thought you were with the hands team.
Chance.
No, you weren't there.
Back with you on SportsCenter. I mean, circle this matchup for Sunday, Kevo. Ravens Commanders.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson versus Jayden Daniels. Only the third quarterback matchup since the 1950 between the reigning MVP and Heisman winner. We are back because anyone can touch the surface, but only Mina Kimes can go deep. She's got her Week 6 deep dives, and we'll start with that electric quarterback matchup in Baltimore. What are you watching for when the Ravens host the Commanders Sunday?
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how this Ravens pass defense matches up with Jayden Daniels, because they've been excellent against the run this year, best in the NFL by many metrics, but they have not looked like themselves against the pass. And there's one part of the field where I feel like they're particularly vulnerable. That's on intermediate passes between 10 and 20 yards. In fact, they are dead last in the NFL in EPA per play allowed on those passes. Unfortunately for them, Jayden Daniels, well, he's got a QBR of 100, which is basically perfect throwing to that part of the field. So I suspect he will lean heavily on his arm with those intermediate passes off of play action in this one. And I'm curious to see if the Ravens can stiffen up and look more like they did last year, particularly at